What you're saying, you're telling me is that you're gonna go in there intelligently, you're gonna put him where he's the weakest at, and basically make it easy, make it look real easy. Do you think that's credited to your...
I'm not talking about even just, I'm talking about striking.
Oh, you're gonna knock him out?
Yeah, bro. I got...
São dois grandes lutadores, experientes, né? Eu já lutei com os dois, então dá pra me falar algo assim mais preciso, né? São dois caras, sim, perigosos, mas eu acho que a luta que eu tive com o Khalil, né? Eu vejo ele numa vantagem contra o Jamal. Essa é a minha opinião.
Any way that I want, to be honest.
Nice. I like it. I like it.
Yeah. Any way that I want. And that's just where I'm going to leave that.
Confident.
During a recent interview, Alex Pereira did not have any qualms about endorsing Khalil Rountree, whom he felt had all it took to bag a victory against Jamahal Hill. Pereira, having already fought Rountree, appeared to be speaking from first-hand experience. His faith in Khalil wasn't loose or generic, but more of a clear sign that he's something in Khalil's current form or way of fighting that can be an issue for Jamahal. Pereira's statements were in the spotlight because of his reputation in the sport and how little of the time he makes solid public predictions, so this endorsement is all the more noteworthy.
São dois grandes lutadores, experientes, né? Eu já lutei com os dois. Então dá pra me falar algo assim mais preciso, né? São dois caras, sim, perigosos, mas eu acho que a luta que eu tive com o Khalil, né? Eu vejo ele numa vantagem contra o Jamal. Essa é a minha opinião.
Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson shared a similar view as well. Speaking with MMA Guru, Johnson offered his perspective that Khalil Rountree is most likely to win this next fight. What made this more compelling was the reality that Johnson synchronized his opinions with Pereira's, meaning it was a joint professional evaluation and not mere fan speculation. Both of these men are respected for their analytical comprehension of the fight game, and Johnson even went so far as to cite Khalil's recent fights as evidence of his improvement. This lent credibility to the increasing opinion that Khalil might be able to surpass Jamahal Hill.
Like when he knocked out Johnny Walker, it was like, holy shit, like he definitely has power and he could wrestle Khalil, but I think he's too stubborn to wrestle Khalil. Like when I was talking to him and he was like, I'm gonna knock out Alex Pereira, and I was like, what? Like, why don't you
mix it up?
Why don't you mix it up? So I think if he goes out there and mixes it up against Khalil, I think he has a better chance of beating Khalil. But like I said, I think he's too stubborn. I think Khalil, on paper, I think Khalil should, beat him. Khalil's been working with Marcus Buchecha. He's working with the Jackson House, Everett Santos Studio. Yeah. He's got the Muay Thai background. He's done those wars, and I think he took something away from that Alex Pereira fight, like more belief, like I deserve to be here. I can be here.
You get the rub, right? When you prove that you belong.
Exactly. So you kind of get that, like, you start feeling yourself. So I think he should, as long as he moves, I think I'm leaning towards Khalil Rountree beating Jamahal Hill. Could be a 5-round war. I could see a 5-round war, but I'm gonna have to go Khalil on that one.
Yeah, I could see Khalil winning, and it's mainly because of Jamal Hill's way of movement.
Yep.
Is that he steps over himself a lot.
Part of the contributing factor to these opinions might lie in an earlier interview in which Jamahal Hill said that his only aim in approaching the fight was to get a knockout. While this is a demonstration of confidence, it could have indicated a lack of flexibility or a narrow game plan, which at this level of competition could be an issue. Both fighters and analysts prefer to see multidimensional strategies in major fights, and what Hill said could have left the impression that he was going too one-dimensionally. This potentially unidimensional strategy may be why veteran fighters such as Johnson and Pereira are favoring Khalil.
What you're saying, you're telling me is that you're gonna go in there intelligently, you're gonna put him where he's the weakest at, and basically make it easy, make it look real easy. Do you think that's credited to your...
I'm not talking about even just, I'm talking about striking.
Oh, you're gonna knock him out?
Yeah, bro.
Aside from technical analysis and forecasts, the hype surrounding the bout has been heightened by wordplay between the two combatants. Jamahal Hill, for one, has appeared on several media outlets where he doubled down on the fact that he was going to destroy Rountree. In one of his preliminary statements, Hill boldly asserted he was not only in this fight to win, but to assert his will throughout the bout. These kinds of aggressive declarations are familiar in the world of MMA, but when repeated on various platforms, they serve to stoke debate and heighten public intrigue about the bout's ultimate resolution.
I don't think this fight's going to the scorecards. How do you see the fight with you and Khalil playing out here June 21st?
Well, I'm going in to dominate and put him away. You know, and that's just what I train for, and that's what I focus on. Every fight, it's the same. It don't switch up for me. It's just I'm looking for dominance, and I'm looking to get a finish.
Hill went further in another media encounter, where he gave a firm message to fans and viewers. He asked the audience to avoid betting anything on Khalil Rountree, advising against such an action since it would probably lead to economic loss. Such claims raise the stakes of the fight and create an added dimension of public pressure, especially when the fighter seems so confident about the outcome. For Hill, this may be part of an overall psychological tactic or merely the articulation of his self-confidence. Either one, however, contributed to the hype created around this high-profile fight.
If anybody thinks that Khalil is on my level, let's see him go and win a fight, because we're not even in the same bracket right now. He got a title shot just because he was an easy mark for the champ. He was a favorable matchup for the champ. Anybody who thinks he can beat me, nobody gonna bet nothing that they really want to lose on that. Nobody's taking that bet.
Khalil Rountree, on the other hand, reacted to Jamahal's comments with a serene and collected attitude. When questioned about Hill's boastful words, Khalil downplayed them as mere bravado talk. He did not engage in a tit-for-tat or fuel the controversy. Rather, he emphasized keeping his professionalism intact. By not reacting emotionally, Rountree might have sought to preserve his concentration on preparation instead of distraction. His reaction highlighted a level-headed demeanor and implied that he would rather let his performance do the talking on fight night.
Whatever he says he's going to say, it doesn't take away from the fact that the both of us have to be locked in that cage on Saturday night. You know what I mean? So I think that talk is cheap, and we'll I think the fans should be excited for a good Saturday night.
When questioned about the bout, Khalil Rountree first gave a subtle observation. He avoided sweeping declarations, but instead spoke about the stylistic differences between him and Hill. Without stating it directly, Khalil suggested that what he does would pose special challenges for Jamahal.
I think the fans should be excited for a good Saturday night. Absolutely.
What does this fight look like in real time, in your opinion?
I mean, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. You have people know what my style is like. People know what his style is like.
This line of thought did not ring as boasting, but seemed more of a technical assertion, something that is common to how many fighters like to dissect foes without revealing too much. The subdued confidence was apparent, implying that Rountree felt at ease with the bout and his preparation.
To kind of imagine what this fight's going to look like. The both of us are heavy punchers. He's a former champion. I just put up great rounds against Alex. I didn't get the victory, but I put up great rounds against Alex, and I'm only getting better. So, I mean, it's I don't know. People know my style. They know what to expect every time I go in there and fight. And people who watch Jamal fight, I think, know what to expect, and and they've seen the best of him. So, I think people can use their imagination, put those two together, and kind of imagine what this fight's going to look like on Saturday.
But Khalil eventually went more to the point in his expectations. During a subsequent interview with Michael Bisping, he boldly declared that he would defeat Jamahal Hill any way he wants. This was a departure from his initial more measured tone and reflected an increasing confidence in his plan. The remark was not made in arrogance, but with certainty, which showed Khalil felt complete and prepared to adjust as necessary. Whether by way of striking, clinching, or ground control, Rountree seemed assured in his potential to control the course of the fight.
Any way that I want, to be honest.
Nice. I like it. I like it.
Yeah. Any way that I want. And that's just where I'm going to leave that.
Confident. confidence.
Discussion of Khalil's training also shifted gears when talking of alterations in his training camp after the rescheduling of the bout. The postponement followed an injury to Jamahal Hill, and the extra time was utilized to great effect by Rountree. He indicated that instead of perceiving the postponement as a disadvantage, it provided him with an opportunity to improve further and work on areas of improvement.
I'd say overall, man, it was just a good thing. I just slowed down a little bit, just like because we were 4 weeks out, so I was just now starting to kind of ramp up my energy. I was ramping up my energy, but then when the postponement happened, I just kind of let off the gas a little bit. I stayed training every day, but just the intensity died down a bit to just give me time to focus on, some of the things that we've been working on. So it was kind of a blessing.
This was a sign of maturity in approaching competition, using any extra time not to remain idle, but to make focused improvements leading into a high-stakes encounter.
Sorry, Khalil, I was going to say, just remind me, why did it get postponed or rescheduled?
From what I understand, that there was an injury on Hill's part.
In particular, Khalil discussed improvements in his grappling skill set. Although historically respected for his stand-up, he mentioned that one of his primary focuses in his prolonged camp was to balance out his grappling skills. As Hill is not generally characterized as having a ground-oriented style, this development might provide Khalil with a tactical advantage, particularly in transition or clinch scenarios. Rountree's acceptance of changing his toolkit shows a greater dedication to being a well-rounded athlete and not just sticking with what worked in the past. It also tells fans and critics that he's coming into the fight with a non-predictable style.
And then another thing that I wanted to improve on was my grappling. As I climb the ranks and get closer to becoming the champion, knowing that there's going to be guys coming after me to get the belt, I want to be a well-rounded fighter, and I want to be the best version of myself that I can be in all areas. So working with Bernardo and introducing him into the camp and into the corner has been one of the best decisions I could have made, because I'm starting to feel so much more confident on the ground and I can take anyone.
In the same interview, Khalil stated clearly that this fight, although significant, was not the be-all end-all for him. He conveyed that his attention was on securing a title shot and ultimately competing for a championship belt. The Jamahal Hill fight, to him, is merely a step in that direction. Such an understanding takes the talk away from egos and back to professional aspirations. It calls attention to Rountree's long-term strategy and accounts for his calm demeanor during the media exchanges prior to the fight.
Really, my honest thoughts on the light heavyweight division right now are, I'm just preparing to become the champion, however that looks. So I plan to win against Jamahal, and I want to fight for a title again. I really think that I'm ready to become the champion. I'm ready for it. That fight against Alex was the thing that kind of helped me answer that question for myself. And now that I've been through that and been through that type of war, I know that I can do even more. I know I can do better. And so I'm ready for it again. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know how it's going to look, but I'm going to continue to do the same amount of work until my time comes again.
On another occasion, Khalil made the same point again, emphasizing that his aspirations are larger than one individual opponent. Whether in podcast debate or fight week media appearances, he was repeatedly clear that his aim is to stand at the pinnacle of the division. This mantra wasn't about downplaying the immediate fight, but instead keeping one eye on something greater. In this way, Rountree stayed on point and kept from being too deeply involved with the emotional elements that tend to overwhelm fight build-up storylines.
My goal, my dream, my focus right now is the belt. And that night I came up short. And just putting on a good performance for the fans isn't enough for me. So I'm back in the game. I'm locked and loaded, and ready to be the champion.
The most recent time, both men faced each other in a strained but calm face-off. The event was scrutinized closely by fans and media alike, not for any physical altercation, but to study composure and body language. The face-off provided insight into the mental preparation of both men. Hill was vocal and energetic, but Khalil was calm and quietly confident. This contrast gave depth to the continuing narrative and provided viewers with more to think about when determining who would have the mental advantage heading into fight night.
could get a little closer. Okay. Photo social. Tell us when you want us to turn forward. Let's do a fist up, guys.
Hold down 1 second. I'm gonna step closer. Right?
After the face-off, Khalil spoke about his experience in a respectful and tranquil manner. He called the encounter a learning experience and restated that this battle, though personal to a degree, is still part of his wider professional path. His remarks evidenced a disciplined frame of mind in which emotions are contained and readiness is paramount. Rountree's answers have always revolved around professionalism, putting more emphasis on performance than trash talk or mental games, which appears to be his favorite method for dealing with pressure situations.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, we're both hungry. We're both serious about this fight, and it's been a long time coming. So, yeah, he's ready to bring it, and so am I.
Yeah. Do you take anything away from those, or is it just kind of part of the fight week process? You don't like read into, looking into his eyes and his demeanor and all that stuff?
No, I mean, to be honest, there's not too much to really take away. But there is, it's an experience, right? It's like we can't help but spend months preparing to fight each other.
Yeah.
So it's just that moment where you're face to face with your opponent. I don't really think that there's much to take away, but it is a bit of an experience.
Nevertheless, things might not have been so professional from Jamahal Hill's point of view. During a different interview, Hill implied Khalil had been fueling undue tension behind the scenes. He said that some comments or gestures by Rountree had helped create a feud that wasn't originally there. This added a new dimension to the story, as Hill presented himself as responding rather than provoked. Whether or not there is merit to those accusations, they provided an added layer of depth to the matchup story, allowing fans to think about more than the mere fighting style and training reports.
All respect between you two warriors, though.
We don't talk. We don't say anything to each other. The only time that we did have like an interaction, it was weird.
What do you mean weird?
I was in the PI. I say what's up to anybody. I'll say hi to anybody. And then like I walk in the locker room or whatever, and he's just like, man, you really don't like me, do you? I was like, what? He's like, you really don't like me? I was like, I don't even know you. We haven't had a conversation. We haven't had anything. It's almost like he's content on like he's got to build me up as like this villain or this person that he hates in his head to fight, which is fine with me. But it's just whenever you start like putting the energy off to the UFC staff and like that, like, oh, we can't be around each other or something's gonna happen, like you're not finna do it. So what's the point of that? It's weird to me.
And that wraps up our full breakdown of the Khalil Rountree versus Jamahal Hill build-up. An intense, technical, and highly anticipated clash that's had fans and fighters alike weighing in. From expert opinions like Alex Pereira and Mighty Mouse to the evolving media exchanges between both contenders, this matchup has become more than just a fight. It's a test of mindset, preparation, and execution. Whether you're rooting for Hill's toughness or Rountree's calmness and development, one thing is for sure, everyone will be watching them when that cage door shuts. Don't forget to leave a comment and tell us your prediction, who wins and why. If you liked this breakdown, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss any upcoming breakdowns, post-fight analysis, and exclusive interviews. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time with more extensive fight coverage here on the channel.